Happy Monday, guys. Oh my gosh, today was insane. So I pull up, and in a rare moment in time traveler history, I was actually on time, according to ye mortals, and arrived in the door, and there were 6 people sitting in the chairs, and it wasn't even 11 o'clock yet, which was really interesting because there was only one appointment for 11 o'clock. But it was like chaotic and all over the place, and there were people literally out the door on the footpath today. It was really funny. It was kind of back in the old days, and it was so much fun. Of course, Sandra is a stellar entertainer. She's like cracking jokes, and people were laughing, and it was just that vibe that makes Athlone Chiropractic Care what it is. That's why it's so special. Half the people come here to see her, not me, and it was just awesome. But what was really interesting, and I knew it was going to be like this today because I'd put a video up last week. You saw my friend Aggie from Poland, who gave us this fabulous education about barometric pressure and how we were plummeting into the low 960s, which is like, that's category 5 hurricane stuff, y'all, but with no hurricane here. So like, people were feeling weird, and I explained that the reason that they felt weird is we're talking about millibars of pressure. And so 964 millibars of pressure. A millibar is 1/1000th of a bar. And so basically what that is a measurement of is how much pressure it takes to move something an ounce, okay? So picture it like pressure coming in this way. So normal for us at 1013, you know, that's us kind of rocking along, doing fine. Well, if it drops by 10, you'd be like, I might have a little tinge of a headache, or gosh, I can feel that old shoulder injury, or, you know, that's where we were. We went from 1013 down to 964 over the weekend. It was crazy. People were like, I feel like I'm losing my mind. I feel out of touch. They were exhausted. They were yawning. And what they didn't realize is they're trying to increase oxygen supply to the head. The reason things were so uncomfortable is because when you drop into the 960s like that, the amount of external pressure that's pushing against the body is enormous. Well, why is that significant? So let's say you've got a blood vessel and blood is flowing through that. Well, the increased crushing pressure of a plummet in those millibars of pressure means that your blood is being squeezed, your blood vessels are constricting, the viscosity, which means the thickness, the texture, the fluidity of your blood begins to change. This is why it's important that people who are prone to stroke, who might be in a position where a clot could be a factor, heart stuff. This is why we were saying, stay indoors, don't do anything this weekend, because we're in extremely strange circumstances with an incredibly low measurement for millibars of pressure. So this was Saturday, okay? So I had Sandra go out and buy me one of these because it is the easiest way to describe it. So let's say this is a disc in the spine. People are like, why? I'm in so much pain, everything hurts. Or you have a bursa. Bursa is like a fluid-filled sac that acts like a little shock absorber around your major joints. So what happens is when the millibars of pressure start decreasing, and they were doing it at a very rapid rate, by the way, here's what happens. It's coming in from the outside, and it's like this. So it's like we're taking a little water balloon and we're squeezing, and it's got to bulge somewhere, okay? If we're talking about your spine, then it's like bulging into a disc. It's like a disc that's bulging into a nerve. If we're talking about a bursa sac, as in like bursitis, itis being inflammation, it means that something is bulging and it's tapping into a nerve. It's filling a space. It's like a space occupying lesion that's creating pressure on a nerve. It's creating pressure on scar tissue, and it's creating pain. Okay. As far as the head goes, your brain is surrounded by cerebral spinal fluid. And so when you get this kind of thing going on, that tissue is expanding. So an external pressure that's coming in means that the tissue that's receiving the pressure is expanding. So we're swelling. So this happened at such a fast pace. Because like right now we're up at 996. It's, 6:30, 6:45. And it's steadily climbing. In an hour's time, we're going to be up to 1,000 millibars. This is today is Monday, so this is from Saturday, where we were at the lowest on record, I think, in this region for a while. And now we're starting to go, so what's happening? We're like this, and now everything is starting to ease, and people are like, oh my God, why do I feel so weird? Well, have you ever been in a situation where you were under intense pressure, you know, you'd been like anxious about something, you're tight, you're tense, and then everything begins to relax? And then you really start to ache. Okay, we've got the same situation going on. Your blood is literally thickened. Your blood vessels have been squeezed like this. You might have discs that have expanded in the spine and are now starting to return to their shape. Did you ever sit on your leg and your leg went to sleep? And then you stand up and you're like, whoa, do you know? Because you can't even feel that leg underneath you for a couple of minutes. Well, so imagine if something is squeezing because the atmospheric pressure is coming down at a rapid pace. Now all of a sudden we're letting go. Well, it's not like la 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 la, everything's grand. It takes a little while to bounce back and recover from that. So today was really interesting. Conversations were so fun because I knew exactly, again, who was going to be in. It's my people who suffer with diaphragmatic issues, who have hiatal hernias, who have reflux issues. And they're like, oh my God, I can't stop burping and farting. And I'm like, well, think about it. You've had this rapid decrease and now a rapid expansion. And so you've got like 27 feet of intestines in there, guys. So imagine if any air was in there and everything is pushing in and you're cramping, and now everything is coming back out again. Well, it's going to come up or it's going to come out that way. Fruit. And that's what happens. And so the body is trying to regulate. It's always self-regulating. And, you know, that's what we're always preaching on about in here is make sure that your nervous system and your spine are functioning properly so that your body can regulate itself. It's not that it needs any help. It just doesn't need any interference. So when we get that dramatic plummet, and all of a sudden our tissues swell, and now we're in a space where it's like, whoop, and it's like, oh, hey, sorry about that. Everything's okay. You know, we all kind of know that feeling from the last 3 years. Oh, hey, that didn't happen. No. Oh, carry on. What are you talking about? You could do whatever you wanted to do. That never happened like that. Right? So it's kind of like your body's gaslighting you right now. Because you're like, what just happened over the weekend? Hello? And now everything is returning back to normal and your body aches again. So you're aching for a completely different reason. So I just wanted to explain that to you. So millibars of pressure, 1,000th of a bar, which is used to measure how far something, you know, how many grams it takes to push something. Grams of pressure it takes to push something. And so it's just a unit of measurement of force. And so the body, remember, we're like 75, some of you 80, some, if you're in Ireland, some of you 90% Guinness. And so we've got these incredible expanding bodies, and the meat suit is meant to fluctuate. That's something we forget. The body is always there telling us, hey, something's not right here, or hey, this is good, I'm really good. But what we've been conditioned to believe is that if we are asymptomatic, i.e. we don't feel any symptoms, that everything's okay. We'll ask anybody who died suddenly how that worked out for them. So that's why education about this is so important. And this is why you're always going to hear me banging on about barometric pressure when we see something that's unprecedented, like we saw over the weekend, which was a sudden drop. Think, you do the math, from 1,013, that's normal, in a couple of days' time down to 964, and now Saturday at our lowest, 964, we're going to be back up at 1,000 in about an hour's time. So that's a huge and rapid. So it's like you're like, whoa, you're on the roller coaster of life here going, what the hell is happening? So it's really important that you understand that, because it used to be a part of basic education. And it seems to me it's like the less we know about ourselves, the happier the powers that be are, because then we don't ask questions and then we just do what we're told. So I think it's really, really important that you understand the external natural forces that are working with and against your body and how to act and react accordingly. So that's today's lesson in barometric pressure and our climb back to normality. And yeah, so thanks for watching the other one. It was awesome. Didn't Aggie do a great job sharing her tales about barometric pressure? So we're always going to, you know, consider me your friendly neighborhood weather girl. And I am going to explain to you why the weather is affecting your joints the way that it is, why it's affecting your moods, your health, your head, your heart. And so you have more power, because the more empowered you are, the more empowered we are as a people. Peace out, y'all.